Welcome back to my channel. I am Natasha from Yarn Over with Natasha, and in today's video tutorial we're going to talk about color changing when it comes to amigurumi and how to make a flawless color change without that ridge where you can clearly see when you have changed colors in your pattern. But before we jump into this video of color changing, I want to show you my new ebook, Beginner's Guide for Making the Perfect Amigurumi. The book is about how you can make the perfect amigurumi the first time around, and this book contains 25 pages of tips and tricks and also includes 4 of my patterns that is exclusively just available in this book. So in the book, I talk about color changing, I talk about stuffing, placing eyes, how to sew, how to read a pattern. So if you have a written pattern and you don't know how to read it, the book explains how to read a written pattern. And there's so many more tips and tricks inside that you can use for your first time making amigurumi. If you don't want to wait for a weekly video like this one or a tip or trick that I share on Instagram or TikTok, you can get this book now in pre-order. If you're watching this video after the 5th of February, the book is no longer in pre-order and you can actually just go directly to my stores and buy it. Currently, the book is only available on my website. In the description, I will link the book and that you can go there for the pre-order. It's now currently on a sale, so if you want to grab it now, it would be best to do it now. But if you're watching this video after the 1st, then you can get the book now. So I'm not going to keep you any longer. Let me go show you how you can do 2 different color changes. So for the first color change, we're going to work into these 2 front loops when we change color. So you have reached the end of the round. Your next round, it says you need to change color. So what you're going to do is you're going to pull up a loop. You're going to remove your hook. You're going to insert your hook into those two front stitches. Once you have them into the front stitches, you're going to take your new color. You're going to hook it onto your hook. Then you're going to pull it through. And then you're going to continue with your new round in your new color. So this is going to be your first stitch on your round. And you're going to continue to single crochet as normal as the pattern requires. And once you have made 1 or 2 single crochet stitches, you can take this yellow, the first color, and you can pull it tight, and that loop at the back will disappear. And then you can just continue with your new color. Now I've reached the end of your round, and you're going to work into that stitch, and that's of your first stitch of your next round. So I'm just going to show that again. When you've reached your last stitch, you're going to pull up a loop, take out your hook. You're going to go into those 2 front loops of that stitch. You're going to pick up the new color. You're going to hook it over your hook, pull it through both of those loops, and then you're going to continue with your new color. Once you have made a couple of single crochet stitches, you can take that first color and you can pull the loop tight and it will disappear, and you can just continue with your new color as normal. So that is the one way you can do a color change, is by inserting it into the loops, the front loops, and this is what it will look like when you color change. You will see a slight little indent there, but not so obvious to the eye, and this is the one way to do the color change. The next color change is more of an invisible color change. It's much harder to see the color change, but there is a couple of steps that you need to follow to achieve this. So the first thing is this stitch where the stitch marker is your first stitch. But when you do this color change, this will be the last stitch of your round. And I'm going to explain this why. And you're going to remove your stitch marker. And now in that stitch, you're going to work into the back loop. So you're going to insert your hook into that back loop. You're going to pick up your new yarn color. You pick up your new yarn color. You place it onto your hook. You pull it through both loops on your hook. And then you create a slip stitch. So you're going to yarn over with the new color again. And you're going to pull it through that loop and create a slip stitch. Now the next stitch on your round is going to be your new stitch for that round. So when this is not number 1, this is now number 1. So when you do your first stitch, this is going to be 1, and you're going to place your stitch marker into this one. So here are 18 stitches on this round. So you are going to now just single crochet, continue around. So this is now stitch number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Okay, so now we have 17. So what you're going to do now is, instead of working into those little, you see this little slip stitches, you're not going to work into that. You're going to work into that front loop that you left from your first stitch. So that's going to be stitch 18. Now you have 18 stitches on your round, and those 2 little slip stitches are now at the back. You're going to remove your stitch marker, and this is now going to be your first stitch where your stitch marker was. So that is stitch 1 again. And as you can see, you will have a perfect color change. And then you just continue with your round for the second round. So this color change works great for when you only have to do stripes. So you only have like 2 rounds or 1 round that you need to change color. Especially when you do dolls that have striped socks, or animals wearing stripes, or a zebra or a giraffe with stripes. So I'm going to show that again. So we finished the round. You're going to remove your stitch marker. So this stitch was your first stitch from the previous round. But it's now not going to be your first stitch, it's now going to be your last stitch. You're going to move onto your pattern and you're going to use the second stitch as your first stitch. So you're going to work into that back loop of your first stitch, and you're going to take your new color and you're going to hook it onto your hook. You're going to pull it through both loops. You're going to yarn over and pull it through that one loop. First color tight and your second color tight. Now this stitch here is going to be your first stitch on your round. So you're going to single crochet into him, and you're going to place your stitch marker, and there's those 2 stitches at the back. Those 2 stitches at the back are the slip stitches, and you're going to work into that front loop that you left. So this is now stitch 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 13, 14, 16, 17. Okay, when you've reached stitch 17, now that's going to be stitch 18. So you're going to skip over those 2 slip stitches that you made. You're going to go into that front loop. Now into the front loop. And you're going to finish off your round. And then you're going to remove your stitch marker. And you're going to work into that stitch where your stitch marker was. And then you have your 2 little slip stitches. Then you have your 2 little slip stitches at the back. And then this is what your round color changing look like. So it's important when you do this step that you count your stitches so you have enough stitches on your round and you don't end up with more stitches than usual because you need to skip those 2 slip stitches at the back. So always when you go around, make sure that you count your stitches, and before you reach your last stitch, you're going to work into the front loop of that stitch. So that is it for today's video tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it and I hope you find these tips very helpful, especially the second one. I don't know if I ever saw it somewhere. I kind of mixed the color changes together, the different type of methods that you get, and this one was my favorite to do, especially when doing stripes on a zebra or a giraffe, or when you're doing a doll and she has striped stockings. I know with the Wednesday doll especially, people had asked many questions on how to make socks seem seamless, so that second color change will work perfect for that. First color change is perfect for making, like, let's say the duck there at the back or the penguin, where you literally have a big gap between the color changes. And then the first one would be perfect for that. So if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Every week I will be sharing a new tip and trick for making amigurumi. Like I've mentioned in the beginning of the video, I do now have an ebook that is releasing very soon. It is now currently on a pre-order. Unless you watch this video after the 5th of February, then you can go grab it in my shops. I have placed the links in my bio, so you can just click on any of those links to go to the book, where you can purchase this book with all my tips and tricks that I've learned over the years with amigurumi. I've been making amigurumi since 2019. I have made close over 1,000 amigurumis before. I have put together all my tips and tricks into this book, so you don't have to wait for a blog post or a YouTube video or a short video on my TikTok or Instagram to learn tips and tricks. You can get them all in that book. And that's it. In next week's video, I will be going over stuffing. How to stuff your amigurumi. When are you stuffing too much? And when are you stuffing too little? So if you want to know more about stuffing your amigurumi and getting the perfect shape, or getting this shape, or the shape that the pattern asked you to get, then I'm going to show you in that video tutorial.